Associates. He's a graduate of Covington Theological Seminary. Well, I don't know where that came from. And here's what Billy says. My life has been directed and inspired by two great works. The greatest document ever penned by the hands of man, the Constitution of the United States. And number two, the greatest book ever written, the Word of God. It's been my privilege and honor to serve and represent both for over 47 years. Mr. Billy Denton. He's in the back. There are a lot of people that helped to make Obamacare what it is today, and I feel like I'm looking at a bunch of them. Y'all all know that we have an advisory board or a leader group, what we call a leader group, and if you're in that, I would appreciate if you would stand up for me right now. I got a couple of them outside. I know if you're a leader member or on the advisory board. How about giving these guys a round of applause? These are the guys that we meet. We have a phone conference with. We try to every month. You see your group leader, you can tell them. They can tell us directly, and we can gather together on Wednesday night, I believe it is, Wednesday night, and we talk and discuss the things about Obamacare and which direction we need to go. So their input is very important to your 5 board members, and we're proud to have them. A little special thanks for Matt Ander today. He's sitting up here. He's the IT guy, and we're streaming live right now, folks, on the internet, and we're being recorded, and it'll be on YouTube if you happen to miss anything. And I want to especially today, this morning, say thank you for all the ladies that are here. I've not seen so many ladies packing heat, and I don't know when. And there's one other guy that I want to recognize too. Where's John McDonald? There he is, right in front of me. You know, they tell you when you speak over the crowd, look out and never look down. So I didn't. Come up here, John, if you would. Leave your camera behind. John is the unofficial Obamacare photographer. John goes everywhere with us that we'll let him go. Never grumbles, never complains. Yeah, I'll go. Went to Chicago with us this time. Went to Chicago last year with part of the board members. Went this past year with another part of them. And John has just really been a blessing to Obamacare. Never charges us a dime. Edits the photographs. Some of us he can't edit and make us look very good, but he does that. And John, I got a little something for you for our token of our appreciation. Thank you, John McDonald. I don't know who's going to take your picture with that, but we'll make it happen. How much? What's the time? Okay. All right. We gather here today to celebrate gun freedoms. The freedom to carry a concealed weapon permit, the freedom to carry a weapon openly without a permit, the freedom to carry a loaded pistol in a vehicle with a permit, and we have the ability to carry an unloaded pistol in a vehicle if it's out of reach of the driver and passenger. We do have some gun freedoms in Alabama, but they are not the way our founding fathers intended them. They intended for our gun rights to be uninfringed. So says the United States Constitution. So says our Alabama Constitution. We have allowed our freedoms to be turned into a licensed privilege. I was born a free man, yet my government wants me to pay for a right. What part of shall not be infringed do our leaders not understand? Patriots, I believe there's an awakening in our land today. I believe that freedom still burns in the hearts of American patriots, and I believe this is still the land of the free and the home of the brave. I'm very happy to be representing Obamacare Incorporated, and I just want you to know we remain the only no-compromise gun rights group in the state of Alabama. Many of the members of Obamacare have been in the gun rights battle for years. Our main goal is to educate citizens and lawmakers of Alabama concerning their freedoms and liberties. We concentrate on and support all legal methods of carry both open and concealed. We've been criticized by some for being a no-compromise group. But I want to say, and let everyone hear it, Bama Carry is not in the business of giving up a right for convenience. Our goal is constitutional carry, and we won't stop until we get there. And for those of you who don't know what constitutional carry means, it means a law-abiding citizen does not need a permit to carry a weapon in the manner they choose, because we are free people. Let me make this perfectly clear for anybody that might hear this. Bama Carry is not for universal background checks, nor a tiered permit system or any other form of infringements on the rights of law-abiding gun owners in the state of Alabama. In 2013, Alabama citizens received a freedom in that we can now buy a 5-year permit as opposed to a 1-year. But that same year, they also gave us a list of places we couldn't carry a self-defense weapon anymore. For the first time ever, Alabama now has a list of places law-abiding citizens may not carry a weapon for self-defense. Please bear in mind, this will have no effect on the common criminal. So now I can get a permit for 5 years, but it still costs me the same amount per year. And now I can't defend myself while I go places like to buy my tags at a courthouse annex that are most of the times located in a place in a city that's bad and where people have to park their cars and walk. My government has now said you have to leave your pistol in your car. It doesn't matter if you have to walk 2 blocks on the bad side of town to buy your car tags or go in and take care of any business. After this law passed, many of the leaders in our Senate and House went outside and beat on their chest saying what we did the people of Alabama a big favor. We gave them more freedom and rights. And to this, please forgive me, I say bull crap. This is what compromise gets us, folks, and it's the reason we're in the shape we're in today. Again, I say, what part of shall not be infringed do they not understand? Sometimes I wonder if we had a water shortage, would our legislative leaders choose one of their members to come out to the State House lawn with a stick and hit a rock, fully expecting water to come forth? To help us fight against this infringement of our rights, we must know who the enemy is. Who are those who fight against us? First, let me say, Bama Carry believes any restriction is an infringement. If you believe that training classes should be required before law-abiding citizens may exercise a right guaranteed by our Constitution, if you believe we should give up a right to gain a right, then you are part of the problem and not the solution. I don't have time to cover all the threats to our gun rights, but I would like to cover 2. One of those y'all are very familiar with. What is the ASA? The Alabama Sheriff's Association. Every state around us trust their citizens to carry a loaded pistol in their vehicle for self-defense, but not in Alabama. Our sheriffs through the ASA fought against us getting this right back. They don't trust law-abiding citizens enough to allow us to do such a thing. Our sheriffs stood in opposition to the first piece of legislation in years to come through honoring our Constitution and giving our rights and freedoms back to us that the lawmakers have slowly taken away. Even to the point of saying there'd be blood in the streets and road rage will become rampant. Bear in mind, we're talking about law-abiding citizens here. They flat out lied to the Senate committee, trying to change the law to suit them and their cronies. I witnessed this personally, as did many other members of Bama Carry. We must stand against such tyranny in Alabama as well as the United States. Again, I ask, what part of shall not be infringed do they not understand? The Alabama Sheriff's Association stood against any changes in the law, and this was parroted by most of the sheriffs who swore an oath to uphold our Constitution against all enemies, foreign and domestic. Many of the sheriffs failed miserably at following their oath. Many of our sheriffs have forgotten who they are supposed to serve. We have also discovered where most of the money for the Sheriff's Association funding comes from. They come from public funds. Public funds from mining your tax dollars and pistol permit fees. These funds are then used to fight against our constitutional rights. The Alabama Sheriff's Association charges membership dues to their private association. Keep in mind, this is a private association to the tune of about $4,000 per county. And the county usually pays this, or it's taken out of permit money, both of which are public monies. We looked to our Constitution for guidance and found that these public funds used for private association are not only illegal, they're unconstitutional. And keep in mind, not only are they illegal, but our legislature is specifically barred from the authority to allow such use of public funds in Section 94 of our Constitution. Our Constitution says they cannot do it, and yet they are. There's a good word for that. Our founding fathers used it quite often. It's called tyranny. Section 94 reads as follows. Many of you already know this, but since this is going to be on YouTube and some people are watching that may not be here, that we're not able to be here. Section 94 reads like this. Municipalities not to grant public money or lend credit to private persons or corporation. The legislature shall not have the power to authorize any county, city, town, or other subdivision of this state to lend its credit or to grant public money or thing of value in aid of or to any individual or association. There's more. But we, the people, gave our legislature a code to follow, a constitution. We gave that to them to follow. They have not followed that. Section 94 says they cannot, but yet they have. It's time to stand up and be patriots. It's time to look and understand what our lawmakers are doing. We failed in this area for many years. You know, and I don't blame that just on us. I blame it on my parents and their parents because we were busy. They were busy recovering from a war and raising families, and they trusted their lawmakers. Our founding fathers said specifically, keep your eyes on them. You must be on watch at all times, and we fail that. I think we can recover, though. I think we can recover. Our legislature passed a bill in the 70s saying this granting of money was okay and went directly against the Alabama Constitution. To the lawmakers who are here today, if there are any, I say we want this fixed, and we want it fixed right now. You got the power to make it right. We gave you that power. Now honor your oath and get it done. Our money, people, is being stolen right from under our noses, then used against the people's freedoms. Some of our sheriffs issue permits and then have no gun signs printed up and try to get businesses to put them up. And they've been successful at getting them put up. One of our members here, I can't remember, how many of you had gotten taken down, Alan? Just under 15. His sheriff has put up over 15 signs, and when Alan went in and explained it to them, they took the signs down. Signs affect nothing. We must know that signs never affect a criminal. They just never affect a criminal. They're only aimed at law-abiding citizens. Just recently, a law-abiding citizen dispatched a would-be robber killer in a Dollar General store. That means he shot him and killed him. Dispatched. In the picture on the web that I looked at, showing the storefront, there was a sign saying no open carry. The sign had the name of the local sheriff on it, who provided the sign on the bottom of the sign. Our tax dollars at work. It infuriates me seeing these destroyers of our freedoms posing as a good sheriff. It's also interesting to note that the perp brought his weapon right on in past the sign. While we were at the State House, where the 2013 286 gun bill was in committee, we saw local sheriffs there too. They were doing their best to destroy the 2013 gun bill, and they were in uniform and driving county cars. This is an elected official using mine and your money to get down there to the State House to lobby against the bill. Al, is that not against the Constitution? Absolutely. That's what I thought. That's right, patriots. They were using our money to fight against our right. They were driving my cars, wearing my shirts that my tax money paid for. I ask you, is this the role of our sheriffs? I think not. The sheriff is supposed to be the highest ranking constitutional officer in the county to protect our rights. To protect our rights, not infringe them. Yet we see most of them doing exactly the opposite. We have got to hold them accountable to their oath of office. And the other threat we face, unfortunately, is gun owners. Gun owners who accept that it's okay for our government to make us buy permits and jump through hoops to be able to exercise a constitutional right. We must educate our brother in arms about our freedoms and liberties. I believe we're doing just that. And many are now learning about the freedoms we've given up over the years. I think the tide is turning against those who would take our liberties away. I'm very sad today, guys, because in the quiet times when I'm off by myself, I can hear the blood of those who fought for our freedoms. It's crying from the ground. I hear it. I hope you hear it too. A lot of blood has been shed for our freedoms that we have today. It says, I hear it saying, "Why are you letting my sacrifice be taken away without so much as a whimper? I spill my blood so you can be free. Don't let my sacrifice be in vain." When I pass from this life to the next, what am I going to tell my cousin Otto Fulmer, who lost his life in World War II crossing the Rhine River, protecting my freedoms? What will I tell my uncle Lomax Spiller, who died in St. Lo, France, under command of General Patton? What will I tell my father and 6 of his brothers who all served in the military out of that one family? What will I tell them? I hope I can tell them I did my best. What's amazing to me is almost every senator and legislator you ask will say they stand for the Second Amendment. Then they'll say, but. Then they'll say, but. How about this but? We have the right to peaceful assembly and the right to keep and bear arms. But it appears we can't exercise those 2 rights at the same time. We have a right to vote. And at the same time, we have a right to carry a firearm with us for self-defense. Mr. Robert Kennedy over here that I recognized a while ago is right now under arrest and indictment. He's going to be charged with that. I don't know what they're going to charge him with. They changed it 3 or 4 times and changed the prosecutor and all kind of stuff. But he's under that right now for trying to exercise 2 rights at one time. To their sacrifice, these soldiers, I say we will not let it be in vain. We will stand up. We will be counted. We will make a difference. We will hold our lawmakers to their oath of office, and we will make sure our Constitution is followed. To our lawmakers who are here or maybe listening, just know that we are growing, and we are. Obamacare is growing. I fully believe that Obamacare is on the right path, and we are slowly and steadily gaining vested members and educating people. So I say to you, you lawmakers, we're watching you. So like the pioneers used to do in the old days, so they could tell if the train was coming, you better put your ear to the rail. Put your ear to the rail and listen. You'll hear it for sure, because we're making some noise. You'll hear it. You might not see it just yet, but let me assure you, it's just right around the bend, and the train is coming for you. We're not boarding the trains. It's you the train is coming for. You who have used your office to deny the citizens you work for and represent their God-given rights to be free from the hindrance of government. You who have denied good people the right to enjoy life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. I'm personally ashamed of the way our government officials bow to the whims of special interest groups and did not uphold their oath. I'm angry that you want us to compromise on rights. On rights, there is no compromise, and we want them back. You took them by overstepping the authority given you by the people of Alabama. There's no excuse when you know the truth. The truth being, you have no authority to enforce gun restrictions in Alabama per our Constitution, period. Just like you have no authority to give permission for public funds to be used for private associations. If you have authority, I want you to show it to me. Prove me wrong. We, the people, voted down your attempt at placing an amendment in our Constitution in 1901. Our government wanted the power to regulate small arms, and we said no. And we still say no. Our forefathers knew they would try this and purposely wrote our gun freedoms into our Declaration of Rights. Then they made them untouchable. Honor your oath. Give them back without us having to make you. Give us constitutional carry. It's constitutional. That's what you swore to uphold. Section 26 of the Alabama State Constitution states the citizen have the right to keep and bear arms. Nothing about a militia. The citizen has the right to keep and bear arms. And in Section 36, in part, says, we declare everything in this Declaration of Rights is exempted out of the general powers of government and shall forever remain inviolate. Anybody want to know what that means? Inviolate, not to be touched, forever left the same, and yet they're doing it. They're doing it to us. They violated their oath, bypassed our Constitution with unconstitutional laws, which go against the very freedoms we're guaranteed by God and state. Every state touching ours has provisions for small arms regulation, except Alabama. We had some smart cookies that wrote our Constitution and kept that out and protected our rights, and we want them back. At my peril, I'm fixing to do something right here that, and it's okay if y'all laugh. It'll be fine. Ryan Banks requested that I do this, since he heard me do this one time. How many of y'all old enough to hear and remember Nancy Sinatra? Confession's good for the soul, they say. All right, here goes. You keep saying you got something for us. All right, now give me a break here. I'm going to try again. You keep saying you got something for us, something you call freedom, but confess you've been a messin' where you shouldn't have been a messin', yeah. And Alabama carriers are watching what you do. The Constitution is our law now, and we'll seal that it holds true, or else these patriot boots are gonna walk all over you. Thank you very much.